Men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. Look around you. This is not a family room. It is a court. The corridors are crowded, the faces polished, and every smile has a ledger behind it. You step into the Monday meeting and the air is already negotiated. Titles hang like banners. People don't talk. They perform. They measure first impressions like gold dust and trade in rumors like coins. The one who walks with steady shoulders owns the hall before the first slide appears. You feel like an impostor because the court is designed to make you doubt. Uncertainty is its tax on the unprepared. In this court, perception is currency. You wear a badge, but your real rank is the confidence you project for 7 minutes when the room is watching. Someone is always watching. The rival who compliments your humility is checking your armor for loose straps. The mentor who says, "Just be yourself," is asking you to stay predictable. The friend who says you're lucky to be here is reminding you to be grateful, not ambitious. You thought you were invited to dinner with friends. You were summoned to a hall of mirrors. The mirrors don't care how you feel. They care how you stand. Who profits when you hesitate? The person who wants your speaking slot. The manager who needs you to carry extra work without a raise. The teammate who enjoys the credit you didn't claim. Every apology you add to a sentence is a discount tag you hang on your value. Sorry, just a quick thought. Price lowered. I could be wrong, but lowered again. You spend nights over preparing and then cut your power at the first pushback, as if confidence were a luxury you must repay with interest. Your doubt saves others effort, time, and money. They will never ask you to stop. Imposter feelings are not neutral. They are leverage, just not yours. They give others time while you check notes. They give others space while you justify your place. They give others the room to speak, while you make your voice smaller to prove you are nice. You think doubt makes you moral. Here, it makes you movable. And movable pieces are easy to sacrifice. Change the game you think you're playing. Stop arguing feelings versus facts, as if your chest must be calm before your plan is strong. In this world, the two winds are virtue and fortuna. Virtue is your skill, your discipline, your readiness to act, the steel inside the glove. Fortuna is the weather, timing, moods, the random storm that crowns a fool and drowns a genius. You cannot command the weather, but you can build walls and store grain. That is how a small city survives long enough to grow. Practice virtue like a craft. Rehearse the opening line until it lands like a hammer. Enter the room with a decision shaped, not a question seeking permission. Put your numbers in a one-page brief before the meeting so allies can quote you. Say less and say it clean. When the interruption comes, and it will finish your sentence without raising your voice. This is not aggression, it is governance. You are showing the court how to treat you. Prepare for fortuna. Expect the projector to fail, and your critic to arrive late and loud. Carry the backup. Have 2 allies ready with simple confirms. Yes, we saw that result last week. Yes, the deadline holds. This is indirect fear, not cruelty, but consequence. People respect those who bring order when chaos tries to eat the hour. You are not here to be adopted. You are here to be credible, useful, and hard to dislodge. The mask you feared is not a lie, it is a uniform. Wear it on purpose. Let your work be sharp, your delivery measured, your promises kept. The court will still be a court, but you will stop being a price and start being a power. Stand steady, speak clean, move first. It is much safer to be feared than loved. When of the two, either must be dispensed with. You grew up on a comforting promise: work hard, deliver results, and the crown will find your head. That promise is a lullaby. It keeps your hands busy while others trade alliances in the dark. See your workplace for what it is: a small principality. Promotions are treaties. Budgets are fortresses. The town square is a calendar invite where reputations stand trial. Results matter, but they do not speak for themselves. Someone must carry them, name them, and place them into the right ears at the right hour. This is why merit alone fails. Gatekeepers curate the tale of who deserves what. They decide which graphs appear and which vanish. They select a hero of the week and a villain who block progress. They time announcements for political weather, not moral fairness. A mediocre plan with a strong convoy, sponsors, timing, theatrics, often beats a brilliant plan that arrives alone and late. You call this unfair, the court calls it Tuesday. The correction is not sulking, the correction is logistics. Build a convoy for your work. Before the deck is finished, draft the story that carries it. Who needs to preview one page so they can echo your point? Who can lend a sentence in the meeting that costs them nothing and buys you momentum? Send a brief the day before. Ask for a single confirm you can quote. When the room opens, lead with the decision you seek and the proof beneath it, not the travel diary of how you built it, in the marketplace of decisions. Silence is unpaid rent. Speak once with force and ensure your allies repeat the key line. Now to the soft trap of approval. You want to be liked. You trim your edges, pad your emails, and keep your face agreeable. You collect smiles like coins and spend them the moment conflict appears. Approval feels warm, and warmth feels safe. But approval is a leash that tightens the first time you say no. When you chase it, you negotiate against yourself. You leave money on the table because you fear the room's temperature more than you value your labor. You accept scope creep. You volunteer quick help that becomes unpaid overtime. You apologize for taking up space that the work already earned. Ask the only useful question, is it better to be loved or feared? The answer is to be respected. Respect wears quiet armor. It is built on reliability, clear decisions, and steady delivery. Love is a weather vane. It spins with gossip and fatigue. Your task is not cruelty. Your task is consequence. When you say yes, it happens. When you say no, the boundary holds. Respect does not require volume, but it demands clarity. You can be kind and immovable in the same breath. Speak like a ledger, dates, numbers, next steps, ownership. Here is how the leash looks in real life. Your manager praises your great attitude, then stacks 3 extra tasks because you're so capable. You smile and swallow the delay to your main project. At review time, the extra work is called helpful while your core goal looks thin. You taught the court that your energy is free to rent. Another day, a teammate interrupts you mid-sentence. You laugh to keep things light. The room does not remember your point. It remembers your permission. The pattern ends when you finish your point and without heat say, as I was saying, and continue. Every calm completion trains the room to let you complete. Cut the leash with habits that build respect. Enter meetings with a short agenda and keep the first minute for the decision you seek. Stop padding sentences with weather and apologies. If asked to do more, ask what will be dropped or moved. When interrupted, finish your sentence in full, evenly. Write weekly one-pagers that list outcomes, not efforts. Those pages are armor. They replace gossip with record. Your aim is not to be feared in face, but to let others fear the cost of wasting your time or moving your deadline. Now to mentorship, where affection wears a business mask. A mentor can be a gift, a shield, a shortcut. But there is a ledger even when the smiles are warm. Your mentor has aims, a team to grow, rivals to outpace, a legacy to stamp. When your growth serves their design, attention flows. When it does not, it slows. This is not betrayal. It is math. If you treat mentorship as unconditional love, you will give too much for too little and call it loyalty. Gratitude should be real. Naivety should not. Treat mentorship as a contract between adults. Ask for concrete guidance. The 3 skills that will move you a level up in 6 months. The exact metrics that prove readiness. The rooms you must enter and who can open the door. In return, bring assets your mentor needs. Visibility on a risky project. Early data on a priority. A calm pair of hands when the team is under fire. Keep receipts. When you deliver, say so. When you need sponsorship, ask for it by name and tie it to outcomes. If the mentor hoards credit or goes silent in a storm, widen your base. 2 peers who respect you. 1 cross-functional ally. 1 senior who values results. Share drafts early. Offer help that creates mutual debt. The court remembers who steadied the bridge when the water rose. Strip the illusions and the air clears. Merit counts, but only when escorted. Approval feels soft, but it spends hard and buys little. Mentorship can lift you, but only when you understand the ledger and pay with the right coin. This is not cynicism. It is sobriety. You are not meant to be cold. You are meant to be clear. The court does not reward purity. It rewards preparation, alliances, and a spine. Choose respect, price your value, escort your merit. You don't choose your first move. Your wound does. In a court of reputations, it speaks before you enter the room. It pulls your shoulders in, slows your voice, and decides how bold you dare to be. If you want power over your actions, start by naming the bruise that keeps its hand on your mouth. 3 bruises rule most choices. Banished is the first, the fear that a wrong step will throw you outside the walls. You feel it when the calendar invite skips your name or a private thread moves without you. Unseen is the second, the ache that your work crosses the city like a ghost, touching everything credited for nothing. Exposed is the third, the dread that one mistake will become a banner, that one flaw will be written on your forehead. These are not decorations. They are handles others can grab. If banishment is your bruise, you read rooms like weather maps. You offer favors before they are asked. You cushion proposals with only if it helps, and you laugh at jokes you don't enjoy to keep the door warm. If unseen is your bruise, you chase praise with small performances. You talk fast, list tasks like a rainstorm, and flood the air with proof before anyone questions you. If exposure is your bruise, you polish until the night is gone. You delete drafts that were good enough and avoid live demos that might reveal a rough edge. Watch how wounds become levers. The unseen are hooked by flattery. You're the backbone, says the manager who wants weekend work. One compliment purchases 2 nights. The banished are pulled with urgency. We need you right now, says the team that never planned. Your fear of exile drags you into chaos you did not cause. The exposed are trapped by perfection bait. Let's wait until it's flawless, says the rival who knows timing beats polish. You make spotless slides while the decision sails past. This is not magic. It is procedure. The court maps your bruise with small tests. Someone interrupts you. Do you yield your sentence? Someone credits your work to the team. Do you smile and move on? Someone sends a late-night message marked urgent. Do you jump before asking what fails if you don't? In 10 days, your pattern is visible. Then the lever appears exactly when you are tired. To resist, recognize the costume you wear when you are afraid. The overworker is the first mask, last to leave, first to answer, the one who says, I can take it. People admire your stamina while quietly assigning their mess to your calendar. The agreeable diplomat is the second mask. You sand every sharp edge and turn every no into a maybe soon, protecting harmony more than outcomes. The invisible technician is the third mask. You hide in perfect files and quiet excellence, letting others narrate your work while you stay silent. The comedian is the fourth mask. You break tension with a joke and teach the room to treat your point like a punchline. Each mask is a clever shield, and each spends your leverage. Overwork trades health for crumbs of approval. Diplomacy trades clarity for comfort and invites scope beyond your reach. Invisibility trades credit for safety and teaches people to forget you. Comedy trades authority for warmth and trains the crowd to treat your point as optional. Masks feel like strategy, but they are tribute paid to your bruise. Open the ledger of small betrayals, the daily trades that erase you. You stay silent when the summary files your idea under someone else's name. You over-explain a minor error until the air believes it was major. You prefix good news with apologies for taking time. You accept we'll circle back as if it were a promise, not a dismissal. You let vague requests enter your week without scope, deadlines, or owners. These are not harmless habits. They are taxes that lower your price on the market of power. Consider 3 scenes. First, your manager announces a task force, and your name is missing. The banished bruise burns. Instead of begging for a chair, you say, there's a gap in risk planning. I'll deliver a 1-page with options and owners by Thursday. You move first and define a seat that did not exist. Second, a client praises your teammate for a result born from your analysis. The unseen bruise rages. You answer, thank you. That result comes from the model we built last quarter. I'll send the summary after this call. You reclaim credit without heat. Third, a stakeholder asks for one more pass to make it perfect. The exposed bruise trembles. You say, the decision window is Wednesday. This version meets the standard and unlocks value now. You choose timing over polish and protect momentum. Precision will help you more than passion. Write down your likely bruise and the mask it prefers. Then list 3 moves that announce your bruise, apologizing in your first sentence, answering after midnight, letting interruptions cut your speech. Build counters. Replace the apology with a clean headline. Replace midnight replies with a fixed window of hours. Replace interruption with finishing your sentence, calm, then inviting the other voice. These are not slogans. They are policies. Train allies. Ask one peer to confirm your key point in meetings when you start it. Ask another to nudge you if your email tone slides into apology. Give them the same favor in return. Keep receipts of outcomes, one page weekly, so credit has a home outside gossip. This is how a principality hardens its walls, not with speeches but with small repeatable defenses. Do not mistake this for becoming hard-hearted. The aim is not to stop feeling. The aim is to rule what you feel, so others cannot rule you with it. You can be generous and disciplined. You can be kind and immovable. You can forgive and keep the clock. People respond to incentives more than ideals. Set incentives in your conduct. The wound may never vanish, but it can become a signal instead of a steering wheel. When you feel banished, build coalition early so the room needs you. When you feel unseen, keep a public record of outcomes so credit sticks. When you fear exposure, practice live demos until risk becomes a muscle. This is the conversion of bruise into boundary, weakness into standard. Power begins with private governance. Name the bruise, retire the mask, balance the ledger. And when the lever appears again, let it find no purchase on you. Name the bruise, deny the lever. The room turns colder in a single minute. Your name travels across threads. A subject line beats like drums on the wall, and faces you pass grow formal by a shade. A mistake surfaced, or a promotion crowned you faster than the rumors could adapt. This is not therapy hour. This is a siege. The city is you, and the gates are perception. Decide quickly. You will not open the gates to panic. The siege begins with noise. Notifications hammer like arrows. Meetings multiply at the edge of your calendar, each one a ladder testing the walls. Your first impulse is to explain everything to everyone, to confess, to leak fear so the crowd might cradle you. Don't. A city that bleeds in the open invites crows. Stand on the rampart, count the fires, name the damage without ceremony. Pouring your heart on it gives your enemies a wind. Watch the movements outside. A rival offers help that redirects authority. A friendly face asks for a long call that will drain the night and rewrite your story in their words. Someone suggests you step back until the weather clears. Note the pattern. Sieges grow when leaders abandon the wall to tour the cellars. Hold the wall first. Only then check the wine. Inside, your counsel is in disarray. The pleaser begs for mercy. Send a long apology. Prove you are harmless. The ghost slips toward the tunnels. Disappear. Let it pass. Return when the city forgets. The avenger sharpens a list of names. Strike first in public and scorch the ground. The steward arrives last, carrying a ledger and a map. The steward speaks seldom, but each word arranges the room. What is true? What is secured? What decision must be made by dusk? Choose the steward as your voice. Let the pleaser carry water to the wounded, but keep them away from the balcony. Let the ghost catalog the archives in case evidence is needed, but do not let them touch your calendar. Let the avenger draft the sharp reply, then lock it in a drawer to drain its poison. The city survives only when the steward conducts the hour. Now cut the supply lines that feed panic. First, ration rumination. Give it one strict window, 15 minutes in the morning, 10 at night, to write the worst fears in a notebook you do not reread. Outside that window, when the mind drifts back to self-accusation, return it like a patrol returns a drunk to his bed. Second, stop public self-flagellation. You will not apologize on every thread, soften every sentence, or preface each idea with guilt. Apologies are a currency. Spend one at the right door with a clear commitment attached. Third, delay email apologies. In siege hour, immediacy is vanity in uniform. Draft the note, then hold it until you have facts and commitments. A premature confession cements the wrong story and concedes the field before you measure it. Fourth, verify facts with a single ally, not a committee. Choose someone sober and distant from your anxiety. Ask 3 questions only. What happened? What matters to the mission? And what must happen next? Minutes with calm truth will save days of reputation. Theater. Fifth, Control your body like you control a gate. Slow your breath, place both feet flat in meetings. Lower your shoulders, choose sentences with short spines. Composure is a public policy. People read it and decide whether the walls are strong. Sixth, keep a clean log. A short daily note to stakeholders listing what is secured, what is in motion, and the next checkpoint. It need not defend you. It must demonstrate governance. The court remembers order. Now craft the counter-narrative. Neither excuses nor theater. A counter-narrative is a plan in 3 strokes. Stroke 1, what happened? Name it without embroidery. The release introduced a defect in billing calculations for EU users from 14 o'clock to 15:40. Stroke 2, what you have secured. We halted the release, restored the prior version, validated core flows, and isolated the faulty module. Stroke 3, what will never happen again and how you will guarantee that. 2 gates are added, a pre-release test on billing deltas and a rollback drill every month. Short, specific, and enforceable. When someone presses for blame, separate responsibility from spectacle. I own the decision to release. I also own the recovery and the permanent fix. Refuse the theater that invites you to bow until your crown falls off. True ownership is not humiliation. It is containment. It makes the circle small, the time short, the remedy clear. If the siege is envy dressed as doubt, you don't deserve that promotion. The play is similar. Do not sermonize your worth. Present your ledger. Here are the outcomes. The teams led, the revenue unlocked, the fires prevented, then set the forward terms. Here is the mandate, the metrics, the first 90 days. People argue less with maps than with memoirs. You are not trying to convince them to love you. You are showing the city that the gates are manned. Remove access for panics allies. Turn off non-essential alerts. Decline meetings that ask for your feelings rather than your plan. Channel that energy into rescue architecture. Pre-mortems with your team, clear escalation paths, a second trained owner for critical systems, and thresholds that trigger action without debate. This is how you deny fortune its favorite path. Your exhaustion. Do not confuse calm with silence. Speak, but measured. Close the loop quickly with those who bear real impact. Leave the crowd to its entertainment. Crowds tire, results do not. When the fix lands and the system holds, when the project turns and the numbers climb, repetition will carve the new story deeper than rumor can scratch. There will be moments when your chest tightens again, and the pleaser reaches for the pen. Remember the wall. Courts love a trembling ruler. It makes everyone else feel tall. Your job is not to be the warmest soul in the room during a storm. Your job is to keep the city standing so warmth can return after. That requires boundaries. Others can feel without drama. A meeting ends on time. A decision remains made. A process is followed even when the powerful arrive late. When the siege weakens, do not waste its lessons. Write a one-page after action that names what failed, what worked, and what will be permanent. Praise publicly those who guarded the gates with you. Store the drills so the next storm meets a prepared city. A principality becomes respected when its crises end faster than they begin. Look closely, and you will see that identity did not shatter. Spectacle shook it. The pieces were never you. They were masks thrown by weather. You are the steward who stayed on the wall. And power has a simple memory. The one who governs in the storm is the one the city trusts in the sun. Hold the wall. Speak in stone. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You do not need the room's love. You need the room's alignment. The court's affection is weather warm at lunch, cold by sunset. Your fortress is not their mood. It is your self-respect laid in stone, decisions, delivery, and discipline. Reframe the ache of being an impostor as a misreading of the game. You are not auditioning to be adored. You are establishing that your word can move things from idea to result. Respect over warmth. Warmth is welcome, but it is a guest. It comes and goes as gossip changes wind. Respect is non-negotiable, earned through clear boundaries, plain language, and consequences you actually keep. When someone presses past your limits, do not plead. State the line and the cost of crossing it. We can add that feature, and it will move the date by 2 weeks. Choose. You are not raising your voice. You are raising the standard. People listen differently when outcomes change with their choices. Fear is not rage. In a principality, fear is the quiet knowledge that your boundaries are real. You do not attack, you enforce. The calendar closes at a set hour. You do not reply at midnight. Deadlines are not polite fiction. They trigger actions. Stakeholders learn that if they deliver late, they slip to the next release. You do not threaten. You practice cause and effect. Love may forgive you for being vague. Respect requires you to be precise. This shift frees you from the treadmill of pleasing. You stop working to soothe feelings and start working to govern outcomes. Instead of asking, "Do they like me?" you ask, "Is the plan clear? Are the roles named? Are the risks contained?" Warmth can follow. It is better when it arrives after results, because then it is not charity, it is recognition. Competence, rehearsed to the bone, is not overcompensation, it is sovereignty. You arm the city by practicing how the city moves. Dry runs steal panic's oxygen. You rehearse the first 60 seconds of your presentation until it is clean enough to carry a heavy room. You practice the pivot when someone interrupts. 2 points first, the metric, second, the next step. You rehearse the close decision A by Wednesday, else we default to B. Repetition is not vanity. Repetition is armor. Crisp memos are your catapults. 1 page, tight headings, numbers that stand in daylight. Write as though an enemy will quote you. You name the goal, the path, the hazards, the owner, the clock. You eliminate fluff that makes you sound unsure. A strong memo makes meetings shorter and decisions faster. It tells the court you govern through clarity, not charm. Pre-agreements with allies are the quiet roads that deliver your provisions before the parade begins. Send the core slide the day before and ask for a specific confirm. In the meeting, can you speak to the adoption numbers? Trade this favor often and repay it on time. When the room opens, you are not a lone banner, you are a formation. People respect formations. Formations win. This is not perfectionism. Perfectionism is fear dressed as polish. Sovereignty is readiness. You will still face surprise, but you will meet it with drills. When the projector fails, you start without slides, because your opening line lives in you, not the screen. When a senior voice enters late and asks for background, you give 3 sentences only and return to the decision. The room learns that you do not crumble when the script tears. They learn you can govern under weather. Narrative sovereignty is the last wall. If you do not write your story, the court will write one for you. Lucky, late, learning, take the pen. Speak in titles you can defend: builder, reliable, effective. You do not say, "I'm just trying my best." You say, "Here is what I build, here is what I deliver, here is what I will deliver next." Short, declarative, repeatable. Your allies should be able to quote your identity in your absence. Clean your language. Remove prefaces that beg forgiveness. Sorry to bother. I might be wrong. This is probably obvious. Replace them with anchors. 2 updates. 1 decision. Here's the risk and the fix. When asked for miracles that break physics, you do not soft smile and burn the weekend. You say, "We can do X by Friday or Y by Wednesday." Choose. Choice forces ownership. Ownership creates respect. Build a record others can touch. Weekly, send a 1-page ledger of outcomes, shipped features, closed tickets, resolved risks, saved costs. This is not bragging. It is governance. Documentation prevents the court from floating away with narratives that suit them. It pins history to numbers and names. Over time, your ledger becomes the stone others lean on when storms argue. When praise comes, receive it without kneeling. Thank you. The team delivered on time because we scoped tightly and cut 2 low-value tasks. You convert applause into a principle. You teach the room how wins happen around you. When criticism comes, absorb what's true, repair quickly, and restate the guardrails. We miss the handoff. Here's the fix and the drill that will prevent it. No drama, no self-flagellation, no defensive lecture. Calm is your banner. Do not chase the court's love. It cannot be owned. Some days it will lift you for reasons you did not earn. Other days it will starve you for reasons you could not control. But respect earned by boundaries, rehearsal, and narrative makes you hard to dislodge. People prefer the rulers who make weather survivable. Become that ruler. Make order the climate you bring with you. You are not asking to belong. You are declaring how you build. You are not offering your throat to be kissed or bitten. You are offering your standard clear, reliable, effective. Stand under it long enough, and the city will arrange itself around its shade. Seek respect, rehearse competence, author the story. A prince must imitate the fox and the lion. You will be both clever enough to read the map, strong enough to hold the gate. Meeting your shadow is not confession. It is training. You turn the bruise that once steered you into a signal that guides you. This is virtue's skillful force under reason. You will build a base, design your reputation, set a perimeter, speak hard truths without drama, drill for fortune's storms, and convert your oldest fear into your sharpest edge. Build a power base quietly. Choose 2 credible allies in your function, 1 cross-functional sponsor, and 1 truth-teller immune to flattery. Invite them early. Share drafts before the meeting, not after. Ask for 1 specific confirm you can quote in the room. Can you speak to adoption on slide 3? Trade favors visibly and repay them quickly. Keep receipts of wins, a living ledger of outcomes, not effort, shipped features, revenue protected, fires prevented. When you are not in the room, this ledger and these voices speak for you. That is the point when fortune closes a door, your base keeps a window open. Pick allies with care. 1 should be operational, the person who delivers on time. Another should be a contrarian, who sees around corners and saves you from pretty traps. The sponsor must be close enough to power to open doors yet distant enough to speak freely. The truth teller needs formal permission to disagree with you without penalty. Meet each monthly with a clean 1-pager, priorities, risks, and asks. Ask what they need in return and deliver. Quiet alliances beat loud promises. They last longer and spend better. Craft reputation by design. Remove interpretive fog. On Monday, send a short note with 3 priorities and owners. Midweek, send a status, what moved, what stalled, what changed. Friday, issue a 1-page ledger of outcomes and next week's first steps. Keep the rhythm boring and exact, so people set their watch by your updates. Write like a governor, not a poet. Goal, path, risk, owner, clock, strip apologetic fluff. Numbers and dates are armor. When someone wants quick context, send the memo, not a monologue. In meetings, lead with the decision you seek, then show the proof beneath it. Close with the next checkpoint. In a court where many speak clouds, you will be weather that can be read. Set boundaries as indirect fear. You will not shout. You will create predictable consequences that make others think twice before wasting time or energy. Firm deadlines are walls. Refusal of scope creep is a gate. Calm escalation is the watchtower. When a request arrives without clarity, reply with a form, goal, success metric, owner, deadline. If those are missing, the request waits outside. When someone adds work without moving dates, say, adding this work moves delivery to the 28th. Do we move the date or reduce scope? When silence greets your boundary, keep silence until a choice appears. Do not bargain with fog. Practice escalation like a craft, first to the peer, private and brief, then to their manager with the facts only, then to the forum where decisions are made. Each step is documented, each tone even. Over time, people learn that disorder near you becomes paperwork with consequences. That is fear enough in a civilized court. Practice the hard conversation. Prepare 3 lines for the most common theft credit taken in front of you. Line 1, private correction. I appreciate the summary. Please include that the model originated with my team. I'll send the write-up. Line 2, measured in public if the pattern repeats. To keep the record straight, that model originated with my team last quarter. The summary is in your inbox. Line 3, documented clarity when the habit persists. Following up on credit for the model in future reviews will list owners on the first slide. You do not humiliate. You restore the ledger, rehearse other lines. When interruptions cut your thought, I'll finish this sentence, then I'm happy to hear your point. When someone asks for miracles, we can do A by Friday or B by Wednesday, we cannot do both. Choose. When a superior leans on friendship to skip process, I value the relationship, I'm also accountable for the process. Here is the fast, correct path. Short, steady sentences move the room. They also move you from resentful to responsible. Drill for fortuna. Assume the projector fails. The critic walks in late. The data source breaks. The market shifts. Pre-mortems turn fear into checklists. If this fails, how will it fail? Then build rails. Keep contingency plans. A second path to the decision. a backup owner, a fallback release. Second, source your numbers when the stakes are high. Teach an understudy for each critical task, including yours. Hold rollback drills monthly. Run small war games with your team. 10 minutes once a week. What breaks if our vendor disappears? Who speaks if I lose audio on the call? Where is the red button if the feature misbills? Right answers. Assign names. Test twice a quarter. Anxiety has fewer places to live when action occupies them. Fortune respects prepared cities. When the storm hits, you look like prophecy. In truth, you simply rehearsed. Convert the wound into an edge. If your fear is exposure, practice radical transparency. Share draft risks before you are asked. 3 risks, 3 mitigations, 1 decision. You remove the weapon from critics by naming the flaw first and showing the fix. If your need is approval, use sharp stakeholder mapping. Identify who bears the cost, who signs, who will object, and who merely wants airtime. Feed each the right meal, data for the owner, options for the signer, short updates for the crowd. Stop flooding everyone with explanations. Flood the right person with the right page at the right hour. If your fear is exile, build alliances before you need them. Offer help where it buys both learning and loyalty. Join the cross-team thread, where decisions are born, not announced. Host short office hours that turn confusion into scope. You become the bridge people trust when the river rises. Exile has less power over the person useful to many cities. Make your signature advantage explicit. I surface risks early. I make ambiguous projects legible. I recover faster than we fail. Repeat it until allies can quote it. Then deliver against it until rivals must quote it too. This turns the shadow from a rumor into a standard. You do not hide it. You brand it. Do not mistake this posture for coldness. Responsibility without naivety can still be kind. Praise in public. Correct in private first. Thank the quiet hands. Share credit with precision. Protect your team from random fire by taking the first hit yourself, then distributing the fix with fairness. The city learns that order and decency travel together under your banner. You began as a bruise that flinched. You become a standard that stands. The court will not stop being a court, but you will stop being its prey. You will be the fox that reads the tracks and the lion that holds the gate. And when fortune turns, as she always does, you will meet her with drills, allies, and a calm that looks like prophecy. Build quietly, govern plainly, convert fear to edge. The storm will not choose your mind, you will. Peace is not a feeling that visits. It is a policy you carry like a seal on your ring, shown at the door before anyone enters. You practice it until others learn the rule. The calm prince within is a visible policy. You keep your tone measured, your replies unhurried, your commitments deliberate. You refuse the cheap thrill of instant replies that drag you into noise. You give every request a gate. What is the goal? Who owns it? When must it be done? And what will be dropped to do it? You speak as if time belongs to you, because it does. Once you govern it, composure becomes a sign on the wall. No panic past this line. In rooms where anger hunts for an opening, your stillness denies it. Attack wanders, then leaves. Calm is not silence. It is visible order. You breathe before answering. You let a question finish. You choose short sentences that move a decision forward. When someone tries to bait you into speed, you slow the hour. I'll confirm the numbers and return by 2. When gossip begs you to pick a side, you pick the mission. When a deadline wobbles, you anchor it in facts and options, not apologies. Your steadiness is a lantern, others follow down the corridor. Soon the corridor quiets. Peace rests on a small code, kept daily. First, a truthful accounting of wins and losses. Each evening you write 3 lines. What moved, what stalled, what you will do next. No drama, no self-punishment, no spin. Second, 1 act of preparation. You sharpen a slide, rehearse the opening line, draft the email you will need when fortune shifts tomorrow. Third, 1 owed conversation. You clear a debt, credit someone, correct a miss, ask for what you need. Fourth, lights out on time. Rest is state policy, not private luxury. You defend it like a border, because tomorrow's composure is paid for tonight. You might think peace is softness. It is not. It is the decision to remove chaos's favorite tools: haste, vagueness, and fatigue. With your code, you meet mornings already armed. Your calendar shows the strategy. Your notes show the history. Your allies know the plan. When fortune throws rain, you move beneath a roof you built yesterday with 10 quiet minutes. The city notices that storms end quicker around you. Respect follows that weather. Now the banner. In the beginning, you wore a mask to stop your bruise from being touched. You overworked, over-explained, smiled through interruptions. That was camouflage. It kept you alive while you learned the map. But as you kept the code, the mask changed. It hardened into a standard, a visible banner of reliability others begin to orbit. You do not hide behind it. You march in front of it. People start to say your name when they need clarity, when they fear delay, when they want the fire out before morning. They are not chasing your charm. They are trusting your policy. You do not ask the court to adore you. You ask it to function. You set the tempo, close loops, and keep faith with the boring things that stop disasters. The mood of others rises and falls. Your policy does not calm face, clear pages, firm clocks. When temptation whispers that panic will prove you care, you reply with results. When fatigue invites you to break your code, you keep one small promise and let it carry you to tomorrow. Peace is a practice that looks like leadership from the outside and feels like self-respect from the inside. The weather will turn again. Let it. You have a policy, a code, and a standard. Keep the code, carry the banner, let storms pass.